This looks like fun, doesn't it? Well, this is IRS Form 990, the long version. 12 sections plus up to 16 subschedules. Definitely not DIY material. And if your nonprofit is required to file it, it's a pretty big deal. Form 990 is a beast. There's hardly another tax return out there that requires as much information unless you start getting into publicly traded or multinational companies. And virtually no for-profit company with as little as $200,000 in gross revenue would ever have to disclose this much information. But that's the cost of transparency. In order to operate tax-free and receive donations from the public, the IRS requires complete disclosure. So what is Form 990, the long form? Well, it's an annual information return like the other ones we've talked about, and it includes all the information that would have to be filed on the Form 990N or the 990EZ. Program details, board members, yes, no, explain type questions. Those are very similar to what you see on the Form 990EZ, just in more detail. There's more pages in this return. Now here's where things get a lot more difficult with this versus the 990EZ. When it comes to reporting expenses, the IRS isn't content just to know what categories. They also want to know by class. So for example, they want to know if you had travel expenses, not only how much did you spend on travel, but how much did you spend on travel with regard to your program expenses? How much was administrative? How much was travel and related to fundraising? So program-related expenses, admin expenses, and fundraising expenses are three classes that each category of expense has to be broken down into. And a lot of these answers to the yes, no explains, that's going to determine which one of those subschedules, A through R, you're going to have to file. And you're going to want to pay particular close attention to schedules A, B, D, G, and O. Read our article on our website that is the companion to this video to understand more about that. Most organizations are going to have to file each of those. Some organizations are going to find that their final filing return is 50 pages, 60 pages, maybe 70 pages. Like I said, these things are a beast. So what are the filing requirements for Form 990, the long form? Well, it's a lot like the 990EZ. It's due on the 15th of the 5th month following the end of the tax year. So that means if you have a December 31 year end, it's going to be due on May 15 of the following year. Now that is extendable by 6 months, assuming you get that filed on time. And this is a lot like the 990EZ as well in that it's a true tax return, which means it can be done on paper or it can also be done electronically. Eventually the IRS is going to require that to be electronic only. Now this is important. The 990 long form is specifically for public charities and other 501c organizations with greater than $200,000 in gross revenue, or asset valuation, total asset valuation, greater than $500,000. In other words, you could have an organization whose gross revenue puts them in 990EZ territory, say $150,000 a year. But if their collective value on their assets is more than $500,000, more than $500,000, that's going to necessitate the long form. I said this before and I'll reiterate it now. Form 990 is not a DIY project. Get a professional who knows what they're doing to help you. And if you do need help, contact us. We do hundreds of these every year for clients. And for more information on this topic, see our companion article and others like it at www.501c3.org. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching our video. We encourage you to check us out on social media. Facebook is facebook.com/foundation group. You can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/foundation group. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And finally, we're always on the web at www.501c3.org. Thanks.